So just a little freebie for you other gents out there that have a statewide firearms license or armed security officers. Be sure to use the firearm that you qualified with for your recertification or your licensing. Make sure you use that weapon, or at the very least the same caliber weapon that you used to qualify on. I've heard horror stories about guards that have unfortunately had to use and have discharged their firearm and got in serious trouble and lost their license because they were utilizing a weapon that they technically were not certified or had proof of training for to carry. So with the Department of Agriculture, when you do your recertification, you're qualifying that you and the specific weapon you are using, gun you're using, will be your service weapon, and that you've been trained or qualified by a professional that firearm that you're proficient with that firearm. I'm sorry, I'm still so sick. Probably should hold off on the videos, but we're doing it. So there's a lot of situations where this could, maybe you went out, sprung, and bought a new pistol, and you're super excited and it's super high speed and cool. However, you have no certification or documentation stating that you've been trained and approved to carry that firearm by the standards of the Department of Agriculture. So very important to avoid any problems with your license. You could very well save somebody's life and end up losing your license simply because you were carrying a different firearm. I myself, I have a couple different setups, two primarily, three as a backup. I have one with my holster, my primary carry firearm, the one I have qualified for. I have that on the holster, all set up on my duty belt. If you know the industry, you know changing stuff on the duty belt can be a little bit annoying sometimes. So to avoid all those complications, I have a setup where I have my personal carry on a duty belt, and then I have another holster that I can attach to my body if I'm doing, say, executive protection detail. They are both the same caliber. They're both manufactured by the same company. I wouldn't risk that typically. Knowing what I know now, I'm probably going to adjust that, or probably try to find a loophole so that I can have either or being carried as my primary duty weapon. But don't make that mistake. It's super, super easy to get messed up with some of the things with the department. My goal is to help you get educated and trained on the different ways to keep and the ways you can lose your license. Another great example is pepper spray. If you find yourself in a bind and you have to use pepper spray for whatever reason in court, they're going to say, are you certified to deploy pepper spray? What proof, what documentation do you have that you've been trained and that you are allowed to carry and use pepper spray? Same with a baton. I'm getting into that as well. A baton is a very useful tool. It's intimidating. It kind of it's the next level of equalizer besides firearm. If you have to use a baton to defend yourself, it doesn't the size of the person is not going to matter very much. The speed of them is, however, so make sure you're faster than them. But carrying a baton on duty without being certified. Pretty sure you can carry one. I would not recommend using it unless you've got training and documentation of that training that you're certified to be able to use a baton. These are very simple ways to get into a lot of trouble that's very easily avoidable. I mean, these things are $20. You can buy them at a pawn shop. There's all kinds of places you can buy them. They're extremely effective. They're non-lethal. I'm sure they could be lethal if used in a certain way, but make sure that you have yourself backed up in any situation. A security officer job, not always the greatest, not always the highest paying jobs, but there's no reason for you to have to get into a physical altercation for a job you make $10, $12, $16 an hour. It's not worth it. What I would be referring to mostly is if you come into a situation where you have to defend yourself. Even as a security guard, you could still come into a situation you actually might be confronted or challenged, and someone comes and tries to start a problem with you and you're forced to defend yourself. If you got multiple people coming after you, or any situation where you feel threatened and you need to pull a weapon, you're already in a bad spot. So now you're in a position where you're forced to defend yourself, and you're potentially going to end up losing your job because you're utilizing a tool or a weapon that's not authorized and that you don't have any certification or qualifications to carry or use. So just be careful. Security jobs can be fun. They're easy, they're quiet, a lot of times they're peaceful. Most of the job is customer service. The best security guards have the best customer service. If you're nice and kind, polite, you'll only be firm and confrontational when you need to be. You need to let people know that you're in charge to a degree, and that people need to follow the rules. Above that is mostly observe and report. You're not going to be jumping in and breaking up a fight of 3 guys against 3 guys. That's not gonna be, I mean, if you want to do it, but I'm just saying there's gonna be consequences. So I'm just trying to help out. I hope the video helps out. If you had more questions about the certifications for pepper spray, batons, and actually tasers, there are a couple of programs, and some of them are free, that you can get the training for and certifications for. You probably wouldn't have to pay much, but I'll get more information. If you need it, go ahead and send me a message and I'll forward you that information. Thank you.